For quite a while, I'd say, I don't know, maybe like even 3 years, hopefully not longer, because I'm a little embarrassed about this. But I had this point of view that anytime I heard someone's opinion about how something upset them, or how disappointed they are, or how whatever the experience they had, they could refer to that as being like, well, they felt humiliated or disrespected, or they felt not listened to or laughed at. And even to the most minor of situations to the most major, opinion being the same from whomever would be having it, my opinion would also be the same. And I thought I knew what the hell I was talking about. And my opinion was based off of quickly, instinctively coming to terms of, well, you must be afraid to be truly who you are, or you must be I don't know. You have fear of the experience gave you this perceived feeling of, or this unrealized feeling of rejection or abandonment, or feeling like you're no good, or you're not good enough, or you're not important, or valued, or anything that has to do with that type of theme. And it makes a lot of sense, because if you are quick to react to someone's judgment, or you're quick to react to how you're being treated, there could be an abandonment issue, a rejection issue, a not feeling as important issue. So you're defending yourself from this place of I don't know, almost like a place of fear. Trying to stand up for yourself and trying to so-called have self-respect, but it's really a reaction out of trying to feel important, trying to be important, trying to have self-importance and self-respect. And while that could make sense, I think it definitely has its place, and even could be quite life-changing. The problem with this is, which I'm having a little bit more clarity on, is the fact that I'm never coming from a place of connecting. Meaning, I'm getting someone, I'm getting what they feel, I'm getting what they think. I'm getting the fact of their experience, or at least trying to, or at least it's relatable, not even on a mental, intellectual level, but on an emotional one. And I realize it's the emotion that wasn't really existent in any of these opinions I had. It was almost as if I knew what I was talking about, I knew what was right, I had so much clarity and insight, and could be able to share that in the dialogue, where I had all this confidence and almost like a way of knowing, I know how someone is and how someone feels, and the reason why I was like that is because I came to an understanding with myself that was my problem. It was my problem to feel not good enough. So a lot of times of me fighting back or feeling disrespected, or whatever it may be, there could be a sense of like feeling rejected or what, or not important enough or what have you. But I think it's all like kind of one and the same thing. Just not feeling good enough, and with who I am. And what I would do is instinctively, like as I became more aware of this about myself, I, in a way, I don't know if I want to call it projection, but I'd be able to say, well, let's say I'm watching a movie or a show or something, or anyone would be talking to me, and they'd be like, oh, you can't believe what someone said to me, or, blah, blah, blah. And instinctively, it would almost be like I couldn't even change my opinion, but I'd be thinking like, well, you must feel really bad about yourself, with who you are, and this is what you're trying to protect and defend, and, meanwhile, I'd be listening and stuff, and what have you. And I remember watching a movie once with somebody, and a scene came up in the movie where someone was offended or, really hurt by another person, by how they treated them. And I'm like, right away, I'm like, well, you have, this, like, sense of self that is suffering, and it shows right there, And I remember the other person telling me, just stay quiet. Just don't ruin the movie. Why, just stop speaking. They were annoyed that I would even just critique or even just, And I stayed quiet. I didn't fully get it as I get it now. That the fact of the matter is, like, first off, why are you giving your opinion? You shouldn't be giving so many opinions. I don't think there's necessarily wrong with opinions, but when I say you shouldn't be giving so many opinions, the fact of the matter is, while that could be good, it also has a huge drawback. I'd like to say the major one that I'm thinking of is I'm not trying to understand on an emotional level. I'm not trying to get it. And I realize that's the main thing. And so when you can really try to get somebody, and you really could try to understand somebody emotionally, you're like, you know what? I hear their tone of voice, I see their facial expression, I can, kind of live the experience they have, even though I haven't lived it. And, oh man, I can see where they're coming from. It makes more sense. So I now have more clarity on like understanding the situation, why they feel the way they feel. It's not about abandonment or rejection or feeling bad about yourself or trying to feel good about who you are, blah, blah, blah. While that could exist, I realized, well, all those quick opinions I'd have or instinctive ones that were about that, none of it was about, like, feeling how that person felt. And I think when you can do that, not only is that good, like, to just be an empathetic person, and you get to, like, bond better with another person, but you get to bond better with your own emotions. And through that comes this clarity of getting something better, getting something more. Even if you're not right, it doesn't matter, because you're still coming from a perspective of, like, you care. You care in a way you're more vulnerable. And that provides you with, like, so much more insight. Like, instinctively. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're right, but I think it's a much better approach, and this is why I'm sharing it. Because if anyone's so quick to just judge and react and think they know the answer, well, on one hand, you may be right. But on the other hand, have you considered feeling how that person feels? Experiencing what that person has experienced? in an effort to really get it. So it's not necessarily the correct answer without really feeling. The point here isn't to try to have the correct answer or trying to get somebody or what have you, although that could be fine and all and even essential. Even if you really get another person or whomever, especially the people closest to you. The point I'm trying to make here is it says a lot about you, who you are, to get somebody just because their emotion, however that's being portrayed by them, is received by you in a way like there's like an understanding. And that could give you so much damn clarity. It doesn't mean you're going to know the truth. It doesn't mean that they're portraying themselves accurately with how they feel. But it does mean one thing. You're more open emotionally. And that's a great thing. I'd like to say in a way that's almost everything, because a lot of times it's not what someone says, it's how they say it. And how they say it isn't just with their words, but it's with their body, it's with their face, it's how they... It's almost like perfect in alignment with how they feel. It's like the way someone portrays what they say. It's coming from how they feel, and how they feel projects it's almost like the person within themselves sees the emotion. It's almost as if they look at themselves in the mirror and they see how they feel, and then this mirror reflects back their actions, how their face looks and everything. And you could take one experience, you could take one word, you could take many words, you could take an action or many actions, and within that experience, that could mean so many different things. Just because of their tone and how they're feeling. And, if you're open to that, I think you could really get where someone is coming from. So, I think that's a great thing. Simply because you're more open to receiving their emotions, because your emotions are open to be felt by you.